Guys, so it's the start of a new year and I've decided that for my first vlog this year I'm going to be reading the new to me ACOTAR series. So I wanted to kind of go through it and give my thoughts on it because I know it's a super popular series and I've been like really wanting to read it for a while, but I just hadn't had the time or like the energy to put into it to start reading it because I just know in the back of my head that I'm going to be making it my whole personality. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait till I'm done with my exams to start it. So last year my boyfriend got it for me for my birthday. He got me the whole set and I was like, okay, perfect. I'm gonna start reading this in December. And I will end my year / start my year with ACOTAR. So the year came and went, the end of the year, December came and went, and I got so many new books to read, and I ended up reading The Last Chance Library. So I finished that, and then I was like, okay, we've only got a few more days until the new year, so I might as well just start ACOTAR when it becomes the new year, and that'll be my start to the year. That's my series I'm going to start. I thought I was going to be able to get it done before school started, but school came up and snuck up on me, and now I start next Tuesday, so I've got like very little time to start this. So I wanted to let you know that I've decided that I'm going to start this series and just give my opinion on it and get through it and like share my reactions to it. So I started this. The first one, A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I'm about halfway through it right now, and so far I really like it. I know a little bit about, like I have a couple spoilers. Like I know a few things, but I don't know why. Like I know the result, but I don't know what caused the result. I'm gonna try to leave this as spoiler free as possible, but that may or may not happen, I'm not sure. It just depends on how I react to this, because if I am super excited to talk about it, I'll just put in the title, hey, spoilers. So, with that being said, I know that Farah ends up with, I'm going to say his name wrong probably, Rhysand. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Rhysand. I don't know how you say it normally. I'll have to look up pronunciations and stuff. But I can understand why she would like Tamlin to start. I know that she doesn't end up with Tamlin and she hates Tamlin, and then we all as a collective, like, fan base hate Tamlin, but I don't know why. So there's that. I know Lucian's in there. I think that's how you pronounce his name. So far I like Lucian. I know there's like books later on about Nesta and Elaine and Azriel. So I'm excited to read the rest of it, but just from Farah's point of view, like when I met her sisters, I was like, dang, I don't like any of you. I felt bad for her dad, but at the same time, I was just kind of like, yeah, I understand where you'd get upset. Those are my thoughts so far. She just ended up having sex with Tamlin like the night before she's about to leave. That's where I'm like at right now. So I don't know what happens in between now and then. I know about Amarantha right now. I think that's how you say her name. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm going to butcher the pronunciation for a lot of this. But I know about her. And I knew about her at the beginning because I've seen spoilers. I'm chronically online. I've seen this stuff. So I know about Amarantha. I know like Rhysand is under her control somehow. Like there's some reason that he's like linked to her. They called him Amarantha's whore. So I'm not sure why. But I know that, like, there's something going on there. Like, I remember seeing it and people were like, he didn't really want to be like that. Like, he was forced. And I'm like, oh, that's going on. Do we hate Tamlin because something happened? Or do we hate Tamlin because, like, she's better with Rhysand? Rhysand, whatever. I don't know how you say his name. Obviously, I want her with Rhys. Tall, dark, and handsome? Yes, please. So I actually posted about this series on my Instagram story. I was like, oh, I'm going to start this. And then there was like, that has been like the most engagement that I feel like I've ever gotten from an Instagram story, just like about books, is so many people reached out and they're like, you're going to love this series. I'm so excited for you. It's so good. I've never really been into fantasy and this is amazing. So I'm just like, okay, that's high praise, it's pretty good. So I'm like, I'm hoping I end up really liking it. So far, I do. I'm gonna go so I can read. I have a couple things that I have to do, like for school and stuff, but I'm gonna go ahead and read, and I'm gonna be done with this by either tonight or tomorrow, for sure. And I'll update you guys in between. Okay, so I finished A Court of Thorns and Roses last night, and I'm just gonna go like through my thoughts on it as a whole. So as a whole, I really like this book. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. And I think, I kind of looked through the reviews on Goodreads, and I feel like just because it's such a big series, like it's so popular, a lot of people have it hyped up. And I think, honestly, I think it's worth the hype so far, like just from this book alone, like the tension in there, and like you can see these subtle cues of something's gonna happen between Rhysand and Farah. Like you can tell, and then there was just genuine, and I say genuine, love between Tamlin and Farah. Like you could tell, but she was definitely having those conflicting feelings towards the end with Rhysand. Like you can definitely tell with that. Moving on to my next plot point, the vibes that I was getting from this was like Cinderella, and I really thought of that with like Cinderella and her 2 evil sisters. Not saying that Farah's sisters are evil, they're really not. At least in this book. I don't know about other ones. Cinderella, because of how she was taking care of everybody and she really wasn't getting a lot for herself, especially with the whole money thing. That was a factor. And then it really moved into Beauty and the Beast with Tamlin and Farah. And then I was kind of also getting a hint of something else from the book, but I can't remember what it was. But those are like the 2 fairy tales that I was really coming to mind with it. When I was reading it, I get those flashes of that's kind of like Cinderella-esque, or that's very Beauty and the Beast. Like that makes a lot of sense. But I don't ever sit there and think that it's like a retelling. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I thought the riddle, that's a big plot point, I feel like, in here is the riddle for Farah to figure out. And I thought the way that it was written, how she figured it out, was really, I thought it was really intriguing. Like, she's sitting there and working it out while she's actively dying, and is able to get it out and figures it out and says the answer before she dies, you know? I liked moments with her and Rhysand. I liked moments with her and Tamlin. And I say that now, and I feel like everybody does. Like, everyone likes Tamlin, at least in this book. And then it immediately changes when we're moving into this one. So I'm sure my opinion is going to change. 5 stars for me. And my rating for stuff is very based off vibes and how interested I am in the book. I'm going to be moving on to A Court of Mist and Fury tonight, right after I get off of this vlog with you. That I kind of peeked because these books, they get bigger as they go on, apart from like A Court of Frost and Starlight. That's the one that's super skinny. This one was only like 419 pages, and this one's 600 and something pages, so you get an extra 200 pages. So I'm very intrigued to see what plot points are going to be in here that is going to further the storyline. I haven't even read the back. Like, I'm not even sure what this is supposed to be about right now. So, yeah, I'm just going based off of what was happening at the end of that book. I have my to-do list of reading that, and it would be very exciting if I got to finish A Court of Mist and Fury before school started, but I am not holding out for that because I have 3 days to do it. So today, tomorrow, Sunday, and that's it. And it's already 7:30, so probably not gonna happen. But I will see you guys whenever I'm deciding to update you on my thoughts and feelings. You didn't get a lot of my thoughts and opinions as I was reading it, because I did have a couple moments where I was just kind of like, because Tamlin and Farah had just like really good chemistry in certain scenes, and I was like, okay, get it, I guess. So, yeah, that's my thoughts so far. However, I do think her and Rhysand will be much better, obviously. I am about 52 pages in, and Farah was having her wedding, and Rhys just came and grabbed her. So, thoughts on this right now. Tamlin's acting like a bitch. You don't need to suffocate her. Farah needs to be more in tune with her wants and needs. I understand she's going through a lot right now with like her past and stuff. But she's like not making those connections with Reese yet, which makes sense. But like we're only 52 pages in, but like there's a vibe, bro. How do you not understand the vibe? Okay. Yeah, Tamlin though, he's suffocating and he's controlling and he's like definitely hiding something because they don't talk. Like there's barely any talking between the two of them, and then he's gone. And then she's like, he's suffocating me, he's not letting me do anything, and he's not asking me what's going on. I'm like, that's a red flag, girl. He's not talking to you, he's not asking you how you're feeling. He is probably definitely awake when you're vomiting, but not saying anything. So, red flag Tamlin. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty more. Hi guys, so it's been like a week since I last vlogged and I finally finished A Court of Mist and Fury and I just wanted to give my hot take on it. As you can tell, I am very happy, giddy, whatever about it. I really like this book. It's gonna be very hard to top this. Actually, I don't know if it's gonna be really hard. She's done a very good job so far. I really like the plot twists and turns. I liked the layout of everything. I love a good book that is, I like a long book, to be quite honest with you. I like when something takes a certain amount of time. I've never been one of those insta-love types. I've never been the one that's like, oh yeah, you know what? They met each other yesterday and now they're fucking on the ground, whatever, and they just developed feelings for each other and told each other that they love each other 2 days later. Like, I hate those types of books. Normally. Sometimes I can indulge myself, but usually I don't like it. So anyway, the way the plot lines up the previous book, it's just like, it kind of just takes off immediately from where we left off in the first book. So she's still with Tamlin, still at his court and everything, and then it transitions to their possible wedding. And for some reason I thought their wedding was gonna happen like later on, just because of the fan art that I've seen. But it's literally like chapter 3. Don't quote me on that, I'm guessing. But then Reese comes in, gung-ho, whatever, and just they have this spat and they go at it for however long, like yelling at each other, and he's just like, she's yelling at him and he's just like, I don't know what you expected. We have a bargain. So I really thought that was great. I like when things are not easy from the start. Like, it's not an easy relationship. It's not something that the female main character is like, it's fine. I don't have a problem with it. Like, she's like mad. So I really like that about this book. And then you get further into it and then you realize, oh, this isn't just something that he did on like a whim. Like, he had suspected and he had all these things leading up to like the love confession he does in chapter 54, which is my favorite chapter, by the way. I'm a sucker for a good love confession, and I loved how it was written and how everything between them lines up so perfectly. Like, they are literally made for each other, and it just all is like laid bare in that chapter, and I loved it. So of course, in between that amount of time, you have like the relationship developing, and she's like, he's attractive, but I don't know anything else about him. And then she starts getting like little bits of information about him. He's talking to her and showing her his world and everything, and she's trying to understand what's going on while also trying to figure out stuff about herself. Like, she's still broken at this point, and he's trying to help her through that and overcome everything, and he's completely different from Tamlin, and she's got to understand they're not the same. She's got to stop comparing the two, because she would do that. And he like yelled at her at one point, not yelled at her, but he was just like exasperated, and he was like, hey, you've got to stop comparing the two of us, just stop it. And I love that for him, because I was like, yeah, as you should, because they're not the same. And she should have known that from the very first time that Reese was like, hey, yeah, go ahead and do this, when Tamlin would have been like, nope, you're staying at the house, you're not doing anything. And I kind of felt for Tamlin, not in the sense that I felt bad because of Farrah and Reese. It was more because I was just like, he had gone through a lot under the mountain with Farrah or whatever. And you know, he didn't have the struggle that she had, but he had to endure this curse that was set on him for a long time and whatever. Like, he went through a lot, and she brought up that point, and I was like, yeah, he did go through a lot, but it doesn't mean that he should be locking her up and then not caring about her, and then the one moment that he is with her, it's not to talk, it's to like have sex with her. And it's just like, it's very physical with him, and she had always said that he was a very physical kind of guy and whatever, and I was like, yeah, but you're not that she's not a physical kind of girl, because she kind of was before, but like at the same time, it's like, you need more substance than that. And for him to just continue that on after you guys have moved on from under the mountain and back into his court, and you are throwing up every night, and he's not acknowledging that, and he's not talking to you about his feelings, and he won't ask you about yours, and then he's gonna lock you up in his house? No, that is not the man for you. No. So I really liked that she had to learn from that experience, and while she was trying to figure herself out and repair herself, Reese was also doing that, because it was breaking him to see her break, and he was broken too. So it was just really nice to have something so in depth about them, rather than them being like, we're gonna fuck around and do whatever. And he was just like, no, I'm in love with you. Like, I can't do all that. The thing with Tamlin that I had been like, I want to know what he does, it's so bad. It was that mixture of all of those things, and then the very end of the book where he's like, I made a bargain with this guy that we all hate just so I could get you back. So ta-da! And it just, instead of it probably being some kind of thing for Farrah where, like, I feel like in his head he was like, oh, this is gonna get her back. This, I've been looking for her, I've been searching for her, she's gonna want me back, I want her back, she's gonna be so relieved when she sees me. And he just like, he's like, I'm gonna make a bargain. Bro. She sent you a letter, she told you not to look for her. And you went and looked for her anyway, and you made a bargain with the guy and made it all worse. Now she hates you, and guess what? She's gonna destroy you. She's going to destroy you. And you could have avoided all that by just respecting her wishes for once. You could have done that. But you didn't. So I understand why we hate Tamlin now. I'm very intrigued to see how the next book goes, because I'm pretty sure it's still gonna be about Reese and Farrah. I'm pretty sure. Like, it's still about them. But I feel like we're gonna see connections with the other mating bonds that we were introduced to. Like, it wasn't outright said for Cassian and Nesta, but like we had little sprinkles in A Court of Mist and Fury of them and like how they're kind of connected, and you can tell. And I think Cassian knows, but Nesta obviously doesn't. And then same thing with Lucien and Elaine. I'm intrigued to see how that goes. I do know that Elaine and Azriel end up having something going on, but Lucien is Elaine's mate, so like that's gonna be a thing in one of the books for sure. So I just hope when Azriel's book comes out, it's with somebody, and his, like, we find out who his mate is, and she's like perfect for him. I really don't need, like, I haven't really gotten into it yet, but I have seen a lot of Gwynriel and then Elriel shippers, and I don't know who Gwen is, but, and again, I've said this before, but I'm chronically online, I am on Tumblr, I do see these things because I want to be in this fandom, so I'm like, let me go look this up, and then I just see stuff about what people have said, so I don't know who that is, but I just have a feeling I'm not going to like the relationship between Elaine and Azriel just because Lucien and Elaine are mates, and there's nothing stopping that. So I'm very intrigued to see how that is gonna go. And then this whole Gwen thing, like I don't know who, I'm intrigued to see how that goes too. But I hope when his book comes out that he has like the perfect person for him, because like you can just kind of see he's kind of singled out, and I think I've said it before, like I know who all the mates are between people, and I'm just like, this poor guy has been alone this whole time. He just wants to be loved, and he has not felt like he can be loved on that kind of level. He's my favorite, obviously, but I'm just like, Sarah J. Maas, please do right by him. I know she will, but yeah. That's my really long rant about this book. Anyway, 5 stars for me, and this whole series will probably get 5 stars, to be honest, if I'm like being completely real with you, just based off the first 2 books. And I mean, it could go downhill for me, but I really doubt it. That's all for me tonight. I might start A Court of Wings and Ruin tonight, but I'm not sure since it is 12:30. So I will update you as I can. It's a little bit more difficult just because I have school and I have to dedicate my time to learning as well as reading, so I have to have a steady flow. So with these books, I'm probably going to try to do 1 or 2 chapters a day just to pace myself, but I get carried away, especially with this weekend because I have a 5-day weekend. That's all for me tonight. I'm going to go shower and I'm going to go to bed maybe, or start A Court of Wings and Ruin. Hey guys, so it has been a few months since I last vlogged, which coincidentally has also been a few months since I last got to read A Court of Wings and Ruin. I think the last time I actually picked this up was in March during my spring break, but I haven't been able to read anything since then because I had to lock in for nursing school. So I didn't do anything except for study, do my assignments, and then occasionally I did some Fortnite. I did a lot of Fortnite, but those were the only things that I really allowed myself to do. And occasionally I would go hang out with friends. I think I hung out with my friends maybe twice, and I saw my boyfriend 3 times. Over the course of the semester, I really didn't do much. It's fine, I passed, I'm gonna move on, yay! So, with that being said, I picked this up a couple days ago, and I finished it yesterday. I try to give myself at least a day to like kind of gather my thoughts and talk to you guys about it. So I think I said at the start of this video that I wasn't going to try to do as many spoilers as possible, but I think at this point that I just kind of want to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about whatever I want. So if you have not read ACOTAR and you are at this point in the video and you don't want any spoilers, maybe you should wait till you have read the whole thing, or at least everything that she has released up until now. We started with Farah back at Tamlin's court, where her sole intention is to bring his court down and turn everybody against him, basically. She's very strategic that way. I really liked how she did it. I hate Ayantha. I don't know how you say her name either. And the only names I really know how to say are the ones that you can clearly, like, it's spelled the way it sounds. Like Cassian, like I can say Cassian, I can say Nesta. Farah was a start for me. Like I got that, but like it was a little bit more difficult now. Rhysand is a little, like when I first saw it, I was like Rhysand. It's Rhysand, I'm pretty sure. So just get that out of the way. I'm not great with the names. Same thing with Hepburn, however you say it. I tabbed a lot in this book. A lot more than I did the other 2 books. And I'm not sure if it's because there's more characters, there's more words, or what. Like, I have no idea what it is. But I know that I tabbed more in here with little moments with Farah and Rhys. There's a moment with Nesta. There's a moment with Tamlin, Azriel. There's a variety of, like, moments that I really, really loved in this book. And I kind of wanted to return to, I think, later on. There's also moments that I think I saw off of Pinterest and stuff. Like, I just opened this one tabbed area where it has Reese saying Court of Nightmares to bow to Farah as she's on the throne and he's like perched next to her. I tabbed that. I know there's a lot of fan art of that out there as well, but that's like one of the moments that I did. But there's also a moment towards the end of the book that I tabbed. It's a speech that was done by Reese. And he was doing that little speech to like, not boost them up, but it was like the truth. They were like, we want to hear the truth of what you think. So he does that, and then he also is like, I really am glad to have met you guys. He's like preparing to die. Foreshadowing. But he says something to Farah, so he's like acknowledging her. So it says, Reese squeezed my hand as he looked to me at last, and if I had not met my mate, and then he kind of just pauses. His words failed him as silver lined his eyes. He said down the bond, I would have waited 500 more years for you, 1,000 years. And if this was all the time we were allowed to have, the wait was worth it. I'm sorry. I need that framed everywhere. Everywhere. I need it, like, I need that so bad. I love that. It's so sweet. He's so down bad for her. And vice versa. Like, she's down bad for him as well. And they're so cute, and I love them. There's just little moments like that throughout this whole book where it's, like, not found family, but family and love, and you have war in there, and it's gruesome and thrilling and everything. Like, you just get, like, everything with this. And you have little moments with Nesta and Cassian, and that's like your kind of small little slow burn. Like, you don't really know what's going on, but you know what's going on. And then there's the more like talking with Farah about how like she doesn't like dudes, she prefers females. Like, I get so off topic. Anyway, so Farah goes back to Reese. They do the whole we need to talk about what's gonna happen, how are we gonna get the army together, how are we gonna unite the courts, what's going on with that. And they finally get that figured out, and then there's just like a plot twist turn. Here's now Hybern has brought down the wall. Nesta's connected to the cauldron, so she's like a bloodhound or whatever, like a cauldron detector. Like, she knows when that thing is about to go off. So there's a moment where she calls for Cassian, and like she's vomiting on the floor, on the ground, and he's like flying towards her. And I don't know like what everyone else is envisioning, but I think I have this moment. I don't know if it's from Hercules, but I don't know if it's like the Pegasus like flying and it's like going faster down, or if like it's from How to Train Your Dragon and Toothless is going after Hiccup in the fire. Like, I have like that vision of Cassian trying to like get down to Nesta. I know it's not how like it's supposed to be, like he's like dive bombing to get to her kind of thing, but at the same time that's just kind of what I envisioned. I'm probably gonna insert some kind of like image or something here, but there's those moments throughout this book that make it so good. I gave this book a five stars on Goodreads. You get everything in it. You get everything. And I cried, I giggled, I kicked my feet, I smiled, I was laughing. Azrael had a moment where he was super funny, had a moment where he was hot. When is he not, though? But it's just kind of one of those moments that's like, give me that one over this one, you know? Like, if I was Farah, I'd be all over Azrael all day, every day. At this point, I don't even really know what I have said and what I have not said, but this book is really good. I'm really excited to see what this one is about. I do know that it's supposed to be about, like, Farah as High Lady during the winter solstice. I'm not sure what they're trying to navigate through though in here. I do know that there may be some conflict with her sisters, even though they had this really sweet moment in this book, like where they all huddled together and they were like cuddling. It was super sweet. So, and kind of what their sisterhood should be like, you know, like I really didn't like them in A Court of Thorns and Roses because they were just so mean to her. Or at least I know Nesta was mean to her, but Elaine like ticked me off because she was kind of just, I saw something where it was like Elaine's an airhead and I'm like, not to say that I hate her because I don't hate her, I just didn't like them in that book. But now that we're moving on, and then this book, her moment with the king, I'm like, good for you, bro. I'm like, way to come in and like do something. Same thing with Nesta. I have a feeling that I'm going to like Nesta a little bit more once I figure out like what's going on in her head, because everything's from Farrah's point of view and Farrah gives Nesta and Elaine a lot of grace. I feel like it's not reciprocated a lot of the times, at least with Nesta. But I feel like there's some trauma behind that may explain that. I'm really looking forward to reading this and seeing where this goes. It's only 233 pages, so very much not the whopping almost 700 pages of this. It'll be a light read. I could probably finish this tonight if I really sat down and wanted to do that. I don't know. And I do have A Court of Silver Flames. That's my last one, because Sarah J. Maas hasn't released anything else yet, which is fine. But then I have a whole stack of books that are literally sitting behind the camera right now that I have not read. And I'm in the process of redoing my room. So all my other books are stacked away in boxes. So I still need to read Fourth Wing. I finished this and I love it. 5 stars on Goodreads, I think I already said that. But I think this whole series is just going to be 5 stars for me because Sarah J. Maas has hit every emotion that I feel like I could have going into a book. She's like hit that for me. Like the death of the father, I cried. I cried when Rhys died. I had a moment where I liked Tamlin again for a second. It's just Nesta and Elaine and Farrah cuddling together because Farrah went and got Elaine back with Azriel. Azriel giving Elaine his dagger and Rhys being like, he never does that. That's never happened ever before. And it's just kind of like those little moments that you're just kind of like, dang, okay. Amryn helping out a lot. For a moment, I was really mad with Amryn because I was a little scared that she was like turning on the inner circle. But then she was like, this is the only way. You could do it. I can do it. I don't need anybody else. Just you and me, Farrah. That's it. And I was just kind of like, you know what? I love Amryn. And I really like Amryn. Whatever. I love all of the Inner Circle members. I think A Court of Silver Flames is about Nesta and Cassian. I'm pretty sure. But I can't focus on that. I'm going to be focusing on A Court of Frost and Starlight. And that is going to be started today, maybe finished by tomorrow, so I might see you tomorrow. I don't know. This vlog is going to be super long. That's everything that I have to say about it. I don't think there's anything else that I have right now. So, I will see you guys when I start having thoughts and opinions on this. Hey guys, so it's been a week or two since I last talked to you guys. I'm not sure if I talked to you guys about A Court of Frost and Starlight, so I'm going to talk about that really quick, and then I'm going to get into A Court of Silver Flames. I finished this a couple days ago, and as you see, I've tabbed a couple things, but we're going to talk about this book for a couple minutes. So, in comparison to like the other 3 books in this series, this one is a lot shorter, and you also get to see different perspectives. Like I think you get to see more Cassian and Rhys. Like those are the different perspectives. Normally we're just seeing from Farrah's perspective, but I would love to have a couple more books to see what is going on with Mor and what she's got going on in Valahan, and like just more of what she's thinking in general, because there are a lot of like fan fictions that I've read, and honestly I'm a little confused because I was thinking that Mor and Emery were like mates and stuff, but now I feel like it's just people are just making that up because I didn't have it in here and it wasn't in this one. So I don't know what I've been reading. So I wanted to say really quick from here, I really like that Farah dealt with her trauma and she learned to paint again and everything, and it was awesome. It was a lot more lighthearted than the other ones because this one is more so dealing with like how they're dealing with life after the war, and it actually preludes really well into the next book because this book is about Nesta and how she's going to deal with her trauma and her and Cassian's relationship. So this one segues really good into that one. So this book is also like, it's like the end of Farah and Rhys, like what we're going to see into Farah's mind is kind of what I've been told or what I've heard. So the first 4 books or 3.5 books are about them, and now I think it's going to be a different book for each sister, or she might do other characters, so I'd be really intrigued to see what's going on there with more. And I don't have as much interest in Elaine, but at this point, after reading this one, I feel like I should, considering there's something going on between her and Azriel, and then there's the subject of Lucian, which is a little touchy, but like the fan fiction that I have read made me believe that there was gonna be a lot more moments, and like so many people on Tumblr are like super big on Elriel. They're really big on Elriel, and they're really big on Gwynriel and everything, and I'm just kind of like, okay, cool. And then I see moments and I'm like, he looked at her. I don't know why are you guys so like freaking out about this? I don't know. There's a lot of like discourse on Tumblr between Elriel and Gwynriel and whoever, and Azris, I think, like Azriel and Eris, and I'm just like, you guys, I really don't see what you're talking about. Like, I see the moments with Elaine and Azriel, like it's there, but like I'm pretty sure Nesta and Azriel were still talking about Mor. Like, it's a touchy subject. Like, I don't think Mor and Azriel have talked. So I think that was a whole thing too. Like, I'm just like, that needs to be closed before anything else is done. And as far as I can tell from this book, there's nothing there. Anyway, that's not the point. So I like this one. I gave this one 5 stars because this was a lighter read. It was not easier for me to get through, but like easy to, it's not as heavy as A Court of Wings and Ruin because you had the war going on, and the other, like, A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin are like really heavy in like revenge and war themes, and then this one is just not that. This is like finding family, finding yourself, trying to adjust to life after that. And this was just like, you see the moment with Rhys, Azriel, and Cassian where they're having a snowball fight, and that's super cute. Like, that's their winter solstice tradition. And then they sit in a sauna afterwards all together. So it's just, that's cute. It's nice. It's those nice moments. And that's throughout this whole thing. There's no like really deep, dark, like sense of doom looming over them, you know? Like, there's none of that. So this one is just a good segue into this one. And you get to see from Nesta's point of view primarily. It's Nesta and Cassian. This one, you can see Sarah J. Maas is really like, she'll switch up the point of views, like in her chapters. Like, there's a moment in here where at first we're with Nesta, and then there's like a little swirly, and then it goes to Cassian's, and you can just tell when there's a point of view switch, it'll go back. And I like it like that. Like, I don't need you to tell me every single time when it's Cassian or Nesta or Mor, you know? I can kind of, like, with Mor, it's a little bit different, but like, I can tell when it's a different character, you know? So I like that. Anyway, so moving into A Court of Silver Flames. Surprisingly, I wasn't the biggest fan of Farah's sisters at the start. I'm still not, I feel like everyone has their like redemption arc, and when you see from their point of view, it's like super easy to just kind of be like, okay, yeah, I like you now. But I really like Nesta. I think there's a lot of depression and trauma and PTSD in here that she had to deal with, and she had to learn, like, come to terms with it, and she really needed to figure out herself and how to deal with that before she could then like apologize or be a good sister to Farrah and Elaine. And she was always like super protective of Elaine, and you can see at like moments where she was like, she treated Elaine and Farrah, like Farrah was Farrah and it was always Elaine and Nesta. So then she adopted Elaine as like her person, like that would, and you could see her getting jealous with Farrah and Elaine becoming like close. So I feel like that's kind of relatable. And then you have to kind of adjust to it and you're like, that's not what it is. You have to take that in and then let it go. And I like those like breathing techniques and moments that they were doing and stuff. And for the Valkyries, like their Valkyrie breathing techniques. I'm going off on a tangent. But anyway, so the first part of this is Nesta is not doing well. She's drinking and fucking her way through Valaris. So Farrah, Rhys, Amren, and Cassian, and even Azriel, they're all like, okay, we're all gonna collectively take her and try to do something to help her become a like good member of society again or whatever, like become more herself, because she's just drowning at this point in her emotion. They make her move to the House of Wind and she goes through these emotions. She ends up going up and down the stairs a lot. There are 10,000 steps that they do or whatever. She ends up training with Cassian. I love Cassian. He's so, I feel like before, obviously, you don't know, like, you just have this one perspective based off one character, but when you view them and you see from their perspective later on, it's just a lot different and you get a better grasp of who they are and you just like them more. I really liked Cassian's personality coming out in this book, and he's really defensive of her, and she's the same way. Like, she does not take shit about Cassian, and she doesn't like when people are an asshole to him. I think she definitely put Eris in his place. The villain in this story, Brialyn, I don't know how you say her name, but she also does that for Cassian, you know? So anyway, so yeah, again, so this book is completely different from the other series because we're usually seeing it from Farrah's perspective, and we're not this time. There's definitely themes in here that you can like pick up on. Like, I already knew Farrah and Rhys had a kid, but I like knew that the little shield that was put over Farrah was not because Rhys was like overprotective from the war. I'm like, it's because she's pregnant. I'm not stupid. Like, I know what that is. And that wasn't like completely spoiled with the whole shield thing to me, but I knew that's what it was going to be. So yeah. So I wasn't like, all the wow factors in this book weren't like crazy to me. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's still a 5-star book for me, even though it's kind of predictable. It wasn't like super predictable, but I know the information based off of like what I've heard over the years and stuff from people. So this book is about Nesta and her journey of finding herself and learning to be okay with what has happened to her or because of her in the past. So she really has to come to terms with all of that and figure out who she is and how she's going to deal with that. And I really liked the Valkyrie aspect of the story, because that really ends up helping Nesta like come to terms with who she is, how everything else has worked out, and how she becomes friends with these girls, like with Gwen and Emery, and she's like, okay, hey, they're not gonna like me once they figure out what's happened to me and what I've done to other people. And then they all have a moment where they tell each other their stories and what has happened to them, and they all love each other more for it. They're like, you went through that and you came out of it, and this is who you are now. Like, I would never like leave you because of that. And I just thought that was really beautiful and something that Nesta really needed. This is obviously towards the end of the book. Gwen, Emery, and Nesta's friendship is something that she really needed, because when you think about it, Farrah found her own friends. Like, she has a friend in Lucian, she has a friend in Amren, she has a friend in Moore. Like, the inner circle is really her like friends. So it's easy to see in this one where Nesta ended up coming to Winter Solstice to celebrate, and Farrah paid her, which was not great, but that's what she promised. You see Nesta kind of like go into herself, and you know there's information about like the fire and the fire crackling, so then she thinks of her dad when he died and everything, and that's the PTSD part. But then you also have combined that with the I don't have any friends, these are all my sister's friends. Now my other sister, who I've been really close with my whole life, is now really close with all these people too, and I'm not adjusting. Why am I not adjusting? And now she's just having all these issues, and it's really hard. So I was just kind of like, I really liked that aspect of Nesta finding her people, like finding her friends. So I thought that was really beautiful. I think Sarah J. Maas did really well with that, because it was really about the sisterhood. She just gained 2 other sisters that are really like close. So, and she's got the love of her life. Now for the main part. Now I feel like, or the main antagonist of the book. So we learn throughout this book that there are 2, well, technically 3 if you count Baron. 3 antagonists. So we have Baron, Koshai, and then Briallen. Briallen was one of the queens from the human lands. And she's like super old and gross now. When she went to the cauldron, she didn't get she got to live forever, but she didn't get the beauty with it. So, go Nesta. Baron ends up siding with Briallen, and at least that's what Eris is telling us. So the main problem is that Koshai, while he is confined to his lake and he can't leave, he's still powerful, and he has teamed up with Briallen, who has the ability to track down the trove, which is the mask, the crown, and the harp, and become basically like this all-powerful like king or whatever. Like, it has the power to release him from the lake, and he can like rule over again. And Briallen has a vendetta against Nesta, and she wants to kill her. And I don't know if she's like also looking for the cauldron. I can't remember exactly what her whole thing was, other than like wanting to kill Nesta, and find out, like, get the whole trove together. That was like her main goal. But obviously she has like a vendetta against Nesta, and I'm not sure if her thought process was, I'm killing her because I hate her, or I'm killing her because I hate her, and because if I kill her I'll become young again in the cauldron's eyes. I'm not sure where that came from. So Koshai feels like more of a threat, like the king of Hebron, whatever, however we say it, was. Whereas Briallen, I wasn't really like scared of her, or like scared for Nesta in any kind of way. The only moment where I was like, shit, was when she had control of Cassian. But then, even then, like, I wasn't that worried. You know, I was like, Nesta's got this. This is not gonna be a problem. And then Nesta ends up killing her. Like, I was not even worried, and I didn't have to worry, and Nesta killed her within like 5 minutes of seeing her in real time. Like, she messed with Cassian? Nah, bitch. Now I'm gonna kill you. So I thought that was great. So those are Baron. I'm waiting. I know we're all waiting for Sarah J. Maas to release another book, and I think this came out in 2021. So it's been several years. Not that I'm saying like rush or anything. Like, take your time, girly. Live your life. But at the same time, it's like, I wonder what is going to happen in the next books that is going to progress the story along. Like, are we going to get more Elaine? Are we going to get more Nesta? Are we going to get a different character who is not a part of the Archeron? Archeron? Nesta Archeron? I can't say their names. I can say it in my head. Archeron? I don't know. How do you... Let me Google this. Archeron. The Archeron... But Archeron is a common and accepted way. Some people also pronounce it Archeron, but Archeron. Wait, let me see.
Nesta Archeron. Nesta Archeron.
I'm saying Archeron. Archeron. Archeron? I don't know how you say it. It doesn't matter. So, anyway, it's like a book. So, anyway, as long... For Sarah J. Maas to produce another book, I feel like the next one would be about Elaine. Makes sense. We have all these Farrah books. I would not be mad about another Nesta book, but not that her story's over, but feels like a really like wrapped up pretty bow, you know, of like Nesta's personality. And Elaine seems okay in these books, but like, or like in this book, but she wasn't in the other one. Like she was like a shell of a person. Now she's like doing okay in here. So I kind of want to see like what made her like that other than Azrael, or I want to see their relationship and how that works, you know. I would love a book from Moore, would be cool. Like her perspective on things and what's going on with her. However, do I think we're gonna get one? No, maybe. But I feel like it'd very much be Azrael and Elaine, like in the next one, along with Lucian. Like if we're gonna talk about the different perspectives that we have in this one, where it's like going back and forth between Nesta and Cassian, I feel like that would be that one. It would be Azrael and Elaine and Lucian. Like you'd have the three. Because you have your little love triangle going on there. So I don't know. There's some things that I've seen that I was like kind of confused by because it didn't happen in this one. I'm like, am I missing a book? Like I don't think I am. Everyone I've talked to, this is the last one for a while. I've seen fan fiction. I haven't seen anything else be talked about anywhere. So I don't know, like there's something that I saw, I think it was on Tumblr again, where it was like, I think Azrael was gonna fight Lucian for, like, there was some kind of, not like a right, but it was like something along those lines, kind of like a duel, you know, like in Bridgerton. I feel like it's gonna be one of those, or that's the scene that I was being told happened at some point in here, but that never happened, or it was like hinted at somewhere, and I was like, where are you guys developing these theories? Like it wasn't like a fan fiction that I read, it was like someone talked about it like it was a real thing, and I was like, what are you talking about? So I don't know if they were talking about another fan fiction or what, but I was very confused, and now I'm less confused because I'm like, that's not real. No. So anyway, those are my takes on that. The Valkyrie thing I thought was very fitting, and I thought was really cool because now you have all these women who went through, or fae women, whatever, however you, female, fae male, however you want to view it. They all went through, the priestesses all went through horrible situations, and now they're training, and you have like the Illyrians and the priestesses, but the priestesses can learn Valkyrie training, and that's what Emery, Nesta, and Gwen did. So it's like the rest of the priestesses can do that too, and that's like, now you have Valkyries and Illyrians, and it's really cool. They have the opportunity to take Illyrian women who want to train and do stuff like that, like Emery did, and then make them Valkyries, or have Valkyrie training if they're not going to do it in Illyria, you know, or Windhaven, or whatever. And I'm just like, that's the opportunity. But yeah, 5 out of 5 stars for me. I thought it was really good. I was really happy with it. And for the series as a whole, definitely 5 stars as well. So I love this series. It was so good. I do not regret waiting to read the series at all. I honestly wished that she had more books out now so I could continue reading, but also I kind of need a break from romantasy, and by a break I mean like maybe 1 or 2 standalone romances, and then I can return to it. Or I'll try one of her other series, I'm not sure. I've heard really good things about her Throne of Glass series, so I'll think about it, but it's gonna be a minute because I also have to read Fourth Wing, and I've, funnily enough, never read The Hunger Games, so that might be added as well. My friend got it for me, the whole series, for Christmas, So I have all these books that I've packed away into little boxes because I'm trying to redo my room as well. So I have them all pushed into boxes, like hidden away right now, except for some that I bought recently where they're now piled up on my desk, like right next to me. And with all that being said, I have started my next book. I'm actually currently reading Funny Story by Emily Henry. I am halfway through it, so I probably will finish it either tonight or tomorrow, depending on how much time I spend on it. So that being said, that's the end of this video. If you liked it, I encourage you to actually physically like the video, and then if you want to see more by me by chance, you can subscribe to my channel. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.